So let's talk a little bit more about sustainable development. What are your expectations for the Conference on Sustainable Development in 2012? What would you like to see come out of that conference concretely?
Well, it's not me to have some agenda for that. It's the planet, it's humanity who has to look after the sustainability. We are on a planet that cannot have help coming from outside. If we are going beyond the limits, we will be in deep trouble. So we have to achieve sustainability. Sustainability is something very simple to explain. It means that what we are doing today, what food, transport, or every aspect of our life is concerned, what we do today should be accessible for the whole humanity on the one hand, but also for all those coming after us, our children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, and so on. And this can take many thousands of years. So the question is, are we going to find a way to make our economies work on a sustainable level? We will have in a few days already a debate here at the plenary, preparing this Rio Plus 20 meeting with the two co-chairs of the panel created by the Secretary General on global sustainability. President Halonen and President Zuma will be here to discuss with the plenary about these sustainability issues. And I hope that in Rio we will have real progress on this question of sustainability.
A moment on climate change before we wrap up. It is sort of understood that it has to be a concerted, comprehensive global effort to make any sort of climate change mitigation come through. Yet every country has his, her, however we like to refer to our countries, specific problems, specific issues, and what country should do what and how much are major points of contention. Do you think a global treaty, a binding global treaty on climate change will work? And can it happen?
If we are not able to come to a common strategy for a global issue like that, we will be in trouble. Of course, every one country has to do its own homework, and this may be different from country to country. But if they are starting to compete on an individual basis, we will never achieve something in this field, because you will have those who try to escape the burden. So when you are in a boat and you have some water coming in, everybody has to stop this, and nobody has to open another hole in order to bring again water. So we cannot achieve this goal if we are not able to come to a common strategy. The problem is that not everybody has to contribute in the same way, because you have the most advanced countries who are responsible for all what's happening. And you have those who are joining now development, who have not that much or even at all contributed to both. And nevertheless, you have to get the right behavior for everybody. And this means that you have to set the targets, to distribute the burden for each one, and to take into account that there are some who have to do more because they have been responsible, and those who have to do less. And this is the big discussion about how are we going to share the burden. Everybody is probably prepared to say we are combating climate change, global warming. But when you say, now you have to do this, they will say, no, it's not me, it's the other one. So this will be the difficulty. And that's the difficulty we'll have to solve also in, after Cancun and so on. But some real progress has been made, and I hope that humanity will be able to find the right actions before it is too late, because it's somewhat incomprehensible that we are behaving in a way that could destroy ourselves in the long run. So we should early enough be able to say, no, it cannot go on this way. We have to find together and to apply this strategy.
As a president of the General Assembly, what are some of the key challenges you face?
There are several first positive things, namely that you have much more, even if you have no real power as a president of the General Assembly, you have much more possibilities to take initiatives, to be animating things, to be facilitating things, to connect things, to be a networker. So you have plenty of possibilities to bring things into movement. And on the other hand, it's a very lazy system, because you have 192, and how are you going to know all of them? How are you going to make all of them contribute in a very efficient way, and so on? So the number of the members is already a challenge. But we wouldn't need so many members if they were not all different, because if they were all the same, it would not be interesting. So this is a challenge you have to overcome. The second challenge is that you are in charge for 1 year, and we are addressing long-term questions like the global warming development cannot be achieved within 1 year. So you are one piece of a very long way to go, and if you want to leave some footprints, you have to act very rapidly.
And finally, what would you like to change at the United Nations?
Well, if I could express a wish, it's the one I already mentioned in my opening speech, namely, I hope that all our members will be able, more in the future than up to now, to give priority to the common interest, that we have a common interest rather than what each permanent representative supposes to be, namely the defensor of the interests of his country. If everyone is here in New York simply to represent the interests of his country, we are not going far in this way. But if everyone is able to understand that the common interest is also respecting or going in the sense of his special national interest, then we will make great progress here in New York.
God bless you. Thank you so much for joining
us. Thank you very much.
And good luck in your work.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us here on South-South News. I'm Afaf Kanja. We'll see you soon.